we are live right now.
Listen, if you've heard my show, we don't even officially start sometimes. We just kind of end when it gets too terrible, and somewhere in there was a show.
Oh,
So
I'm ready.
Hell yeah.
I want to join in, man.
we also weirdly we have a 78% retention rate on our show.
Oh?
So my current theory is that people put us on for their pets when they're like leaving, and they just let us
Just
on.
to sound like there's actual life in
Yeah,
the
there's
house.
just it's conversation happening. It's very casual sounding. Right now, he's just a floating head, so I don't know if I can trust this guy on anything.
Steven is always.
I'm
a
not even
floating head.
complete. It's just I did it as a joke and I can't put the shtick down, man.
No, it's
It started
you
that
gotta-
way and it stayed that way.
You gotta ride that bit to oblivion now. That's your thing.
I stole it. I'm gonna write it.
Speaking of Oblivion, we are talking about great soundtracks in video gaming today.
Yeah, wait. We're not live.
What a
yet.
segue!
We're not live yet? Are you kidding? I wasted that segue?
Oh,
Are you
that was
kidding
a-
me?
You know what? I'm
What?
gonna put that in there.
No.
No, I'm actually gonna put that in there, and I'm gonna put your meltdown in the podcast as well. I'm putting all of that in there. So go ahead and continue your beautiful segue, Javier.
Oh man, so
We have officially started now.
we've officially started after my couple second meltdown for a wasted segue. I'm too good at shilling, man. I'm too good at selling things.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Blessed Jeremy Soul. Blessed be.
we were talking about amazing soundtracks in video gaming today. We're talking about our top 5 favorite soundtracks, or at least what we could come up with in a week.
Should we tell them who they're listening to? By the way, we have a brand new name. Well, let's talk about who's here. So I am Angel, aka Profane. We got Javier back here. You are who?
You just introduced me.
Oh yeah.
You're
Go
gonna
ahead.
make me have 2 meltdowns in one episode? Are you kidding me?
Who are you?
I'm Javier. You just said so.
All right. On the top left, for those of you watching live, obviously if you're listening to the podcast, he's top left in your heart.
I'm the left ventricle, baby.
I was just gonna say he's the left ventricle.
Might need to see a doctor actually.
You're right.
I'm a problem. It's me, Friendly Faraga. Howdy doody.
And
Talk about
down
heartburn.
here in the gut, in the feelings, right here at the
My
bottom.
gallbladder.
We have somebody joining us today that I'm very excited about. Tell them who you are, what you do, and that's all right. Go ahead.
My name is Zach Folan.
All right, that's good
I'm
enough.
on. That's
no,
fine.
No.
Nobody wants to listen to the small intestine talk.
That was the best intro I've ever gotten on any show. That I am the middle to lower abdomen of the show. I love
Yes,
that.
that's it.
That's me.
That's it. So,
Cool.
what do you do, Senor Zach?
A bunch of stuff. I am the marketing and sales director for a company called Bridge. We distribute games all across the world. If you go in a game store and there's board games on a shelf, we probably sold some of them to that company. We also develop games and a million other things in the board game industry. And I also have my own. Can I plug my own show? I don't want to
Absolutely.
plug my own things. I also do the Atlanta Warhammer podcast, which is probably where people listening to this know me from. That came from that page over here. So I'm sorry to my fans. I'm going to be professional on this show. You guys know that's usually not the case. Yeah, and that's
Whatever
it. I'm a
professional
giant.
means.
I don't know. I've been listening to your show. I'm ready. I was trying to do the top 5 Disney in the car, and I'm glad I wasn't on that one because I think I've seen 6 Disney movies, so
Oh,
that would have been the whole show.
Oh, that would
No,
be
it's
really-
okay.
You know what?
You would have paired well with me.
Yeah, I was like, well,
That,
I was in the same boat with you on a lot of them where it's like I just haven't seen this. I don't know.
that happened to me. We did top 10 animes for beginners. You know, people who are just getting into it. And I realized I'd only watched like 11, so I was like, this is easy.
Yeah,
I got my
top
list. Yeah, I just gotta
let's see,
drop
there's
one
some
of them
fun.
out, you know, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, there's 3 Dragon Balls, so I got 3 out of the way. Okay. How many
So-
Gundams are there? That's it. That's the whole list.
That's it. That's the list. But anyway, yeah, we do have Zach in here. We met Zach up in Atlanta. It was awesome. One of the people that we really enjoy working with. I'm not going to say the other people, but we we enjoyed working with Zach. We had a great time. Yeah, actually, this is really funny because these are all people. For those of you listening, we are Gamers on the Edge, and we do fundraising and try to bring awareness for kids in need, whether it's illnesses, whatever it is. And we've been doing this, and both of these guys have been instrumental to helping us out achieve those goals. So it's been really, really cool. Today we are going to talk about our 5, I don't even know whether it's our 5 favorite soundtracks in video games, or, because that's one of the things about this is we just kind of throw a very generic title out there. Oh, and speaking of titles, see, this is how you have ADHD really bad because you interrupt yourself. Speaking of titles, I was going to tell you about, I don't know, 4 minutes ago, that you are joining us on the very first ever new name of the podcast. We've been trying to come up with a name for this podcast for a while now. We couldn't come up with a name that we were satisfied with.
We tried twice.
Either the name was just okay, we weren't crazy about it, or the name we thought of was already taken. So the official name is O Cubed right now. It's not really O Cubed. The name is Out of Options. That's the name of the podcast.
Ooh.
Out of Options. Why? Because we were
out of
options.
And 1, we were out of options when it came to names, and 2, if you're listening to us, it's because you're out of options. So either way, that's the name. It is Out of Options, and that's what we're going with, and we're sticking with it. But let's get this thing started and roll it. I'm going to throw...
The Out of Options podcast, your first last choice.
Yeah.
So I should not have gotten the Pontification Station tramp stamp before the show because I thought that was part of being on the thing.
You
so.
can get those. You can get those taken off.
Oh yeah,
It's fine.
get them
We'll
taken
just
off. Yeah.
match, you know?
Yeah. We'll put 03 over it.
I'll just cross it out and then put
cute.
underneath it. Yeah. All right, good. Sorted there then.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. So I'm gonna just throw 2 that did not make. We're just gonna go ahead and start rolling around and talking about the ones that did not make our top 5. If you have any of those, my first 2 that did not make my top 5, that I was a little sad they didn't make the top 5, but I still had to mention them, were Halo. And Halo to me was like one of the first games. Again, I started late into video games, so Halo to me was one of those first games that I actually noticed the soundtrack. I was like, this is cool. You know, I like
Good old Marty.
why is there a choir in this thing? And why does it kick ass? I was like, I like this a lot. And the other one was Cuphead.
Cuphead does have a fantastic soundtrack.
Yeah.
What a wallop.
Yeah.
I was good enough to hear all of it.
Yeah. I didn't even need to play the game. I just wanted to listen to the soundtrack, you know. And there were games like that, like and we talked. This is another one that didn't make my list, but it might make one of yours. So I don't know if I want to say it, but I'm saying it anyway. Tony Hawk 2. Great game, but the soundtrack was so much better than the game. Like,
It sculpted my taste in music.
yeah,
It really did. Like, that was me when I was putting this list together. I had to decide whether or not I was going to include like stuff like that, Need for Speed, stuff where it's like
licensed music.
Yeah, it's licensed music, so the soundtrack is absolutely slapping, but it's kind of not related to the game.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I ended up having to not do that.
curated for the game, or the game's curated for around the soundtrack. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I ended up having to
tough.
not do those, otherwise it just would have been Tony Hawk 2, 3, and a couple of Need for Speeds. Like, it would have just been songs I like, basically.
one of my
Exactly.
favorite gamer tags, and one of the guys that helps us out a lot at events, Cronesplosion.
Yo!
He's on the chat, and he just mentioned same thing with Crazy Taxi, which is another one that the soundtrack was definitely better than the game was. And it's a good game, nothing against the game, but the
Which
soundtrack
plays
was
so well on the Steam Deck, by the way.
this.
Ugh.
Oh,
Does it actually?
does it?
It yes,
Oh.
it plays so well on the Steam Deck. I've been playing it
I'll-
not at work. Never mind.
I'll tell you,
yeah.
one of the best calls I've made recently. We did DreamHack San Diego, and we were running the charity area for them, and they said I could have 2 arcade cabinets. I said, give me Guilty Gear and give me Crazy Taxi. Dude, those 2 games were like all weekend, all 3 days. Those 2 games were rolling. It was so good. Crazy Taxi was so good. Everybody walked by and were like, I play that on the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
That's right.
You hear the music.
Yeah,
You can hear it from across the room, and you're like, I know that from somewhere.
Yep. Crazy Taxi.
Speaking of Dreamcast, actually, I do want to like give some kind of a shout out to Sega. Like, no matter what you say during like that console war or whatever back in the '90s and whatnot, Sega killed it with music.
Oh yeah.
They were
Yeah.
so good, no matter what. I'm not Sonic aside. I'm talking like everything else they did. The music was always good.
Hey,
They
here's,
took advantage of that console sound blaster. So
I mean, here's one that most people probably would never. It's not a top game by any means, but
Sorry for
Space Channel 5.
yes, sir.
Yeah, I
Yes,
remember that.
sir.
Down, up, down, choo, choo, choo. That music was so good.
It was so
such
hard
a-
to also not include games like that, like
Yeah, yeah, it
Parappa
was-
Rap and whatnot.
That
I was
was,
gonna say Parappa. Yeah,
Mhm.
that was one that I went back and forth on a lot. Where I was like,
Yes.
was
Step
that.
on the gas.
So, what were some of you guys that didn't make your top 5, but you definitely wanted to throw it in there and talk about it a little bit?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Should I spitfire like the ones that just
Do it.
the ones out of it?
We got no
So
rules.
I'm gonna save the one that like bridges that like the ones that couldn't make it and the ones that did.
Okay.
I'll save that for the last, but for everything else, Final Fantasy IV, really Final Fantasy in general, Nobu Namatsu, just it's Nobu Namatsu, you know. But Final Fantasy IV specifically, that one just always holds like a special place in my heart with the music. I guess because the story is so melodramatic, so it's just a lot of melodies throughout the music because melodrama and whatnot.
Yeah.
And Near Automata is also just you want to have a good time, just slap that in the background and just go do your laundry, and life is good, man. Silent Hill as a series, specifically number 4. God dang man, I love that music. It just sets the tune or the tone and the atmosphere so well. Kiri Yamaoka, you're the best. Mega Man 2 specifically, Mega Man music slaps in general, but Mega Man 2, Mamma Mia, Wily's Castle, come on. And then really all, this doesn't count, kind of, all PlayStation like jungle mixes. It's really hard to describe it, but name or
Yeah.
just think of any like late '90s PlayStation 1 racing game. That music, it just uses a lot of A-man breaks and it beats like
Yeah.
for fill or drops like it just
How
I'm
was that?
lost.
How was that?
Yeah, like that kind of those beats. If that makes sense.
You mean
no, I
like
know
in
exactly what
days?
you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Good
amped
old
to press
drum-
start right now.
Oh God. Oh, I love you. But yeah. And for the game that bridges that gap a little bit, and I'm really glad that you already brought it up as like your first point, Professor, is I'm moving around a little bit. I mean to shrink myself. Halo as well. My lord, I love Martin O'Donnell. Halo, kind of to your point, it just like man, music can like be theatrical. I'm not sure how this is showing up on the
Yeah.
capture. Or the,
No, you're good.
I mean correctly, perfect. But yeah, so oh my god, I love Halo music. It like this is one of my favorite bands ever, Shadow of Intense. That's a Halo reference alone. They have a song. Their first 2 albums is literally Halo lore. The first album, Primordial, is the precursor. No, sorry, not precursor. The forerunner, Human War, and Flood. And the second album is the entirety of Master Chief's story. It's so good. It's just deathcore at its best.
Listen, before we
Um,
move to Zach, I want to throw this out there because I know this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but talking
Mhm.
music, I remember when Xbox, all of a sudden I found out the original Xbox, the big brick, that I could download my own soundtrack and
Yep.
listen to my own music while I was playing.
Why playing games?
I mean,
I-
people take that for granted, like right now, because they just listen to their music while they're playing. That was not a thing when Halo, came out in the original Xbox. So when I was like, I can download my music, pick my
You
stuff.
could do it. You could do it on the 360 as well.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. And I was like, downloading everything. I had my Red Hot Chili Peppers and everything going through there so that I could,
Yes,
it's like, I don't want
sir.
to listen to your Madden
Oh,
football,
man.
whatever you got on. I'm putting on my own playlist on that original Xbox. Big old brick, man.
I also listen to Chili Peppers while playing Oblivion sometimes.
That's a weird mix.
No, Shivering Isles DLC. It made sense. It was Blood
Oh,
Sugar
okay,
Sex
yeah,
Magic.
that makes sense. Then.
Blood Sugar Sex Magic, Shivering Isles. It made sense. I promise you.
It's all pretty crazy.
He's listening
That's like
to
a
Primus. The
time
seas
that
of
doesn't-
cheese.
My name is Mud, as I'm just Sheo Gorath. God, what's up, baby?
It's just Shagoroth saying it out to you.
He's riding on his
Honestly,
horse, and you hear Jerry was a race
if
car
there-
driver. He went.
If there is a live-action Elder Scrolls movie, and Les Claypool is not Sheo Gorath, I will be very upset. Think about it. He would actually do very well as Sheo Gorath.
Oh,
He seems like one of those guys that would also know everything about the lore. Like you never expect.
Oh,
He's
absolutely.
just a huge fan of Elder Scrolls.
Little did we know he actually wrote some of the books in the game.
Yeah. He's the Argonian maid. He's behind the holes.
He's the Les the Argonian. Oh my
I never
god.
knew it was him.
Les Claypool was possible. Never mind. I'm not going to finish the joke.
It's just shadow writing.
So
Yeah, there
Zach,
you
what
go.
do you have this sitting outside the top 5?
Oh man, so this was tough because I had to kill some babies that I, and then I also had to make this list,
He's
and
like
it was really
clubbing
difficult.
seals in order to get this list done.
I went to the club to hear some tunes, and I came out with some nice new gloves. So there was a couple that I had to cut out that were just so close. Halo was one of them because
Yeah.
I never had a Xbox up until Halo Reach came out actually. So I came in even later than everybody else. I had no idea what was going on, and I was terrible at it. But I could fly the little helicopter thing into the base and pick up the flag and fly it back out. So that was my job in every Halo Reach match, basically. But like that caused me to go back and start playing the other games, and like experiencing the soundtrack and all of them was so cool. It's such a good, like, you hear that chorus kind of thing come in, and anybody that's played it knows it instantly. You can hear those notes being played on a Casio keyboard through a phone in a New York subway, and you'll still go, "That's Halo." Like, I know that.
Oh.
Yeah, that's Halo right there.
It's a
We got,
cultural phenomenon.
You've been demonetized. You got too close to it. Sorry. So that was a big one. Another one that I cut out was this is kind of a tongue-in-cheek one, but it's true. Eternal Sonata, because it's a game based
Hey, that's
on
cheating.
Chopin
No,
and
yeah.
classical music, so it kind of has to have a good soundtrack.
It's
but
anime
the way
classical.
yeah, like it would be bad if that had terrible music,
Yeah.
considering the author. But I don't think he worked on the game development. There's something about timing didn't line up. But that one was another one where it's like the music is integral to the story and really good, and it sticks with you. And everyone I tell that to is like, that was a game that came out, and I have to explain the whole thing to him. And my last one that didn't make the cut was Def Jam Icon.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Because it kind of fell into the Tony Hawk thing where it's like, well, it's licensed, but the fact that, I don't know if anybody played that, but the fact that if you lined up your actions with the beat of the music, you did better in the fight was such, and you could load your own music in, and it would kind of try to apply that system to it. It was hit or miss if it wasn't hip hop, but you could basically be like, any style of music, you could fight to that style, and the sound would move the scene around you, like stuff would explode in beat.
Yeah.
It was like an experience with the music, but it was
It's
licensed.
like
so
the
I took it
original
off.
Baby Driver.
Baby Driver's an incredible movie.
Oh yeah.
So it's funny, talking about license things. This once again just kind of jumping all over the place. But I was listening to an interview, and I believe Steven Tyler was saying that they made more money off of their Guitar Hero video game than they did off of any other top songs.
Huh.
Yeah, they literally made more money because they were making, I think, because of the way their license was, I think they were making 40%.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
yeah.
On the video game, and they were only making like, I don't know, 5-10%, on actual songs, that they released. So that 40% was just stupid on the video game. So they made a lot more money off of
And
that.
that was probably like, I don't know, I think that was probably like the third most popular
It's
Guitar
huge.
Hero.
It was huge. So what did you
I was
got,
gonna say-
Javier?
But so that didn't make it in my top 5. First of all, you guys were talking about old like PS1 racing games. Jet Moto GP 2.
Yes, sir.
That
Yes, sir.
soundtrack slapped.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, Umurangi Generation, it's a game where you're a photographer and you have to like take pictures that are like they fill certain goals. But it reminds me a lot of like Jet Set Radio and a few of the songs, and a lot of the stylization. Very, very great game as far as the music goes. Outside of that, I was gonna try and put Final Fantasy in my top 5, but I couldn't really settle on one. Same thing with Legend of Zelda. Legend of Zelda, like the series, has a lot of great songs, but I don't think that there's any one particular game that has such
Back
a
to back.
strong
Besides Wind
composition
Waker.
above the rest that I could put it in my top 5.
Yeah, it's more like the Zelda theme is eternal, but you couldn't. There's not one game that like
Yeah.
nailed the soundtrack.
It's like Star Wars. Like there's a bunch of themes that everybody loves, and throughout the whole series, like you're like, yes, this is fantastic. But if you had to put one soundtrack above the rest in the Star Wars series, I don't think you could.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to jump into my top 5. I'm going to give you 5, 4. Then we'll kind of go 5, 4, and then 3, 2, and then we'll save number 1 for later. But this is kind of weird in here. 5 for me was Sonic. I just really, really enjoyed Sonic. Probably 2.
Sonic 2 was a really good
Yeah,
soundtrack.
probably Sonic 2, but generally speaking, just Sonic music. I just remember playing that and just absolutely enjoying it. After that, this is kind of a weird. It's gonna be a weird flip, but I'm gonna say, and I'll explain later. But I'm gonna say Kingdom Hearts is probably my number 4. I think Kingdom Hearts probably won the original, and you know would be my favorite, and it kind of goes from there. I don't have an issue with any of the others, but those would be my 5 and 4. What you got there, Mr. Friendly Faraga?
For 5 and 4?
Yeah.
Earthbound is probably number 5.
Fantastic
Like,
soundtrack.
and granted, when I say number 5, I really these 5. It's really hard for me to actually put them
me too.
in actual
Yeah.
order.
Yeah.
So
I may
loosely
have just
5.
done that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not really a 5th in my heart, but just like I just when I think of immediate like this, just it's comfort food for my ears. Earthbound is up there.
Oh yeah.
It's so wacky. It's just so the focus was to be so put you in the mood that like hey, this is a weird game. But like it still keeps it. I don't know how to explain it, man. It's just it's funky. It's weird. But it's also comforting. I don't know.
It's
hard to explain.
It's a game where you have to hurriedly eat hamburgers while fighting a guy in a junkyard and his robot associate. Like,
exactly.
By the way, Earthbound,
What do
favorite
you
game
do?
of all time, hands down.
It's up there for me. Yeah, it's one of my
Like
favorite
I didn't even add
games.
the soundtrack, but it's so good. But you're right. It feels home and yet alien, which fits the
It's-
setting perfectly.
Exactly. It's very jubilant in weird circumstances when you feel like a stranger.
People call me a juvenile all the time.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wait,
Yeah,
that's
you
not
can-
what you said. Never mind. Go ahead.
And man, see, like now I'm looking at this list and like I'm not gonna say this game as number 4 because that'd just be almost disrespectful to it for me.
Do it.
No. So I'm gonna say Chrono Trigger next.
Oh, okay.
Chrono
yeah,
Trigger's fantastic.
Chrono Trigger is one of my favorite games of all time. Catch me on certain day, I'll say it is my favorite game of all time. And the soundtrack sticks out for me even more so because of it. I think the soundtrack is what helps make it such a great game. And I remember reading interviews from the composer, which I'll need to double check his name, unfortunately, because I'm bad about that. But I just remember him stating like he wanted to make something kind of like Koji Kondo. Like he's just so good at creating hooks. Um, he wanted to be the same way, but how do you do that for an RPG? So then that's why when you think about it, almost every single Chrono Trigger song had the hook is so powerful. You can whistle to almost any Chrono Trigger beat. So yeah, I just love that game, and I love its music. Mwah.
Can't whistle.
I guess you had to be able to whistle in order to whistle. That's the first step there.
I just don't know if I want to whistle Shylock's theme. By the way, I forgot. I wrote these down like as examples of like why I love or like actual track examples. Shylock's theme is probably like one of my biggest up there for me. You know, that stand out for Chrono Trigger.
Cool.
So, yeah.
What you got there for 5 and 4, Zach?
I did not definitely hastily write down numbers next to what is some amount of sticky note because my other sticky note's way over there and I don't want to get up.
That's right.
So my 5 and 4 kind of interchangeable. And it's mostly like all of these. I feel like the top 5 could all be a 1, depending on what I'm looking for. So my 5th was Skyrim because the soundtrack is not just the opening, which will get you in the mood no matter what. I don't care who you are. When those guys start kicking in with that big, Dovahkiin thing like that, you're ready to strap on a helmet and go fight some dead guys in a tomb or something. At least I am, and the police have asked me to stop. So that counts as a fantastic soundtrack, but also like the ambient noise, the town music in Skyrim, the first couple of notes of that little like flute thing, if you hear it anywhere in the world, you're in a town in Skyrim. And it does such a good job of solidifying that world. And then my 4 was kind of not a wild card, but one that stuck with me forever since a kid. It was Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, wow, yeah.
That, when every other soundtrack of that time was hyper octane, like, coming at your face full speed, just beeps and bloops, Donkey Kong had that, but it also had, like, the underwater stuff where you just kind of grooved and got into it.
A lot of ambience, man.
Yeah, and for a game that was
really
kind of... For a game that was challenging, like, honestly, they were hard when you're younger. Maybe not, like, Disney licensed tie-in.
I was just going to say that. Those were the hardest games ever. Those stupid Disney games.
Yeah. Lion King.
And Lion King, there was a Toy Story one. That was so stinking hard. Why?
They didn't know what to do, so they skinned some sort of platformer and said, "Here you go. Kids can't beat it anyway. Who cares?" The Donkey Kong music, like, it sticks with you and it's chill. It's like you can listen to it when you're going about your day doing stuff. I had some today while I was working on some photography. I had some of the soundtrack just playing, and it's like you can't do that with a lot of other game soundtracks. Yeah. Just take it and have it as an album. So that's in my 5 and 4.
Right, Javier, what you got?
So, first of all, aquatic themes in like old 64 games, like, fantastic. No matter what game it was. So number 5 is actually... So first of all, this top 5, it's my current favorite top 5
Yeah,
soundtracks.
Before you go writing to us or at us, this is our opinion. I'm not even saying that these are the top 5 games. These are my top 5 because I enjoy them.
I need to get around to playing more... RPGs, and specifically more JRPGs too. However, I unfortunately just haven't at this current moment. So with that being said, there's not going to be Chrono Trigger. There's not going to be like Persona. However, Animal Crossing: New Horizons has a fantastic soundtrack. Like, if you just want to like sit and listen to something chill, Animal Crossing: New Horizons is the
Can you do that in the background while Javier talks about this?
No.
Go ahead,
like,
come on.
I don't know if it's partly because of the ability of Animal Crossing to just, like, put you in a specific calm setting and just kind of make that world envelop you. But, I don't know, it's just, it hits all the right notes. It has one new track an hour, and that's not including the small other little themes, like in the Nook shop or whatever. It's just fantastic, and I don't see myself ever, like, growing old of that soundtrack. Number 4, which probably could be higher. A Hat in Time. A Hat in Time, fantastic soundtrack. For those of you who don't know what A Hat in Time is, A Hat in Time is a spiritual successor to the Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine kind of platformer. Just very, very heavily movement based, very deep, like movement style. But it's all fantastically written. It all fits the world to be just beautiful, beautiful.
All right, well, let's move to 3 and 2. This is the reason I said my 4 was kind of. I struggled with it because I put Kingdom Hearts at 4, but on 3, and I almost wanted to flip these, but I just like 3. Maybe it's just because it's not Kingdom Hearts, and I've heard Kingdom Hearts so much, but Infinite Undiscovery was so good, and that was also that's kind of a lost game by Square Enix.
The old 360.
Yeah,
RPGs.
that most people have no idea, but the
I
music.
can faintly see the cover, I think. I definitely did not play that one.
No,
It
and
was
that's
one
why
of
I
the
said,
last 2-disc RPGs.
yeah,
Oh,
and it
nice.
was so good. The music was amazing, and it is one of the few games that I will actually put it on Spotify, and just listen to it while I'm driving around. It's like one of those weird ones. So that was my 3. Oh, I forgot to mention this Forza Motorsports 2. I just have to say this because I'm such a Forza Motorsports head, and I've all the games, love all of them. Forza Motorsports 2 was the last game that I actually listened to the soundtrack. After that, every time I got the game, I just mute the whole soundtrack and just play the game. But Forza Motorsports 2, I actually listened to the soundtrack while I was playing, so that for whatever it's worth. Number 2 on my list is, and it took me so long to play this, I should have played it ages ago. I had a student tell me to play it, and finally talked me into it. Bastion.
Good game.
So good. So good. And
Play
you know,
Hades.
the music is great. And the stupid narrator is amazing. So I don't know. The combination of the two was just perfect. So that was just one of those games that was like, okay, I can listen to this. And then if I had to go do something, I could just leave it and just listen to the music, go do whatever I needed to do, and I was just enjoying the music at the same time. So that's my number 2. It's kind of a random one, but that's it. Javier, let's work backwards. What you got
Work
for
backwards?
3 and 2?
3 and 2. Okay, so 3. I've already mentioned it in this podcast. Super Mario Sunshine. Like, don't get me wrong, all of the 3D Mario games I think have fantastic soundtracks. However, I think Super Mario Sunshine did such a good job of setting up their world as just this very bright, very very tropical setting. Just every song, it's just right. I would have put Super Mario 64 probably in another lifetime. However, Super Mario 64 does reuse songs, so I can't really give it everything. But
That's your number.
I just don't get tired of running around Delfino Plaza and just listening to that theme over and over again. Number 2, actually, you mentioned it, Infinite Undiscovery.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the first games where I was playing it, and while I was playing it, I was like, damn, this soundtrack's amazing. Like, every single area has a unique sound, and it's also partially because of the design of the game. The art in the game is amazing, and the music just accentuates that.
You
So-
you want to know why the music is so good? By the way,
Why is that?
do you know who composed it?
I actually do not.
Legendary composer for games, Motoi Sakuraba. He's the payroll Bandai Namco composer. So
Hmm.
he's done Tales games, Dark Souls 1, 2, 3.
Oh wow.
Okay, that makes
Couple
so
small
much
titles.
sense. Like, I would
He-
highly recommend anyone who hasn't listened to Infinite Undiscovery's music to go like after this and just search it up. It's
It's good
fantastic.
stuff.
He's a master of bombastic choirs and crescendos.
Wait, isn't that Shaggy? Mr. Bombastic?
Mr. Bombastic.
He wrote that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lova Lova?
Oh,
He's the real Mr. Worldwide.
And one last
Yeah.
thing before I hand it over to Zach. As far as Sonic soundtracks go, 2006 Sonic the Hedgehog was so much better than the game. Oh my goodness. That game was trash. It had a lot of potential, but they just didn't finish playtesting it and they just released it.
They didn't finish a lot of things with it.
Wait, you're telling me that a Sonic the Hedgehog game made after the Genesis era isn't good? Because I'm gonna need some sources on this.
I think, okay, slight rant. Sega would make millions of dollars if they made a mobile gacha game based around Chow's.
Oh,
Bring
yeah,
back Chow Garden.
100%.
Bring
Is
back
there
Chow
not
Garden.
No,
Bring
there's
back
not.
Chow
It's
Garden for
upsetting.
your phone. Bring back Chow Garden for make it a Tamagotchi,
Yeah.
damn it. And like
Yeah.
millions of dollars. Charge kids at 99 cents for cosmetics, like per free money. Come on, man.
You can give Chow's little hats. Like,
I'll buy
It's
them.
easy
Damn it.
money.
I miss my Chow from Sonic Adventure 2, damn it.
Yeah, why? I feel like that had to have been an idea somewhere.
I don't want to play the game to
If it
do
was,
the
they
Chow Garden.
dropped it.
they dropped that ball hard.
Alright, what you got,
Sorry,
Zach,
rant,
for 3 and 2?
Okay, so this is where it's getting challenging here. So 3, speaking of bombastic choruses, we've mentioned the group of games that this falls into, but Final Fantasy VII, because One Winged Angel is
Oh, yeah.
that's it. The song, like that is the Duel of the Fates to me of the Final Fantasy
Yes.
universe. A reference that if you get it, you get it. Like
Yeah.
it's just you never hear that song in any version where you don't immediately want to like square up and fight some sort of horrible monstrosity for 45 minutes until it drops a planet on you. Like it's so powerful both in the original version and when you get any re-release where they do actual chorus and stuff like that. But I think as a group of music for that game to have worked both in a 1995, well, I don't remember when it came out,
Seven.
90s.
Yeah.
But to have worked then and to work with reinterpretations throughout the rest of the series, chorus arrangements, like that kind of stuff, to where you still know it. You can hear any version of it and it's instantly recognizable. And it just takes you back to that game. Like playing through the remake, I was so happy to hear all the remade versions of the songs, but they kept kind of a lot of the core stuff in there. And it was like, this is good. All the Final Fantasy music is great, but 7 is the one to me that just nailed an epic soundtrack.
We can't play that song when Steven and I are in the same room because we start fighting.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
turn-
Yeah.
The second I
You
hear it,
just
I'm
wanna hit
14
something.
edgelord immediately.
It's just like if you ever went to see, if you were in the theaters when Matrix came out and you hear Name of the Game by Crystal Method, you will start punching your friends. You can't help it. It's just
You have
it's just
to.
built into
Your body
us.
moves that way. Yep.
Your
It's just-
body moves that way.
We were programmed.
so
that
that
way.
That's your
that was my 3. Yeah. For 2, I don't know that either you're going to agree with me or you're going to have quizzical explanations on your face. Katamari Damacy.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
not question
yeah,
at all.
okay.
Nah,
No,
nah,
okay,
nah,
there we
nah,
go.
nah, nah,
Yeah.
nah,
Yeah.
nah.
See?
No,
It's
we
in your
love-
head.
We love Katamari music.
Okay, good. Well, do you love We Love Katamari, which is the 3rd game?
I love calamari.
Mhm.
Oh no,
Love
sorry.
Katamari.
Katamari Damacy, one of my favorite games of all time. My friend gave it to me in 2004, my first year of college, to date myself on this podcast immediately. And I
That's
had no
you
idea
do
what
when
it
you
was.
can't find a date, you date yourself.
You know what? Hey, we're all gamers here, right, guys?
They hate me.
Sorry.
Anyway, my friend gave me this game, and I had no idea what it was, and I put it in, and I still didn't know what it was after playing it for like an hour or so. But then I got a copy of the soundtrack, and that thing lived in my car for like a year. It's just weird Japanese pop jazz experimental
Yeah,
fusion
pop
core.
jazz. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
way to
It's
put it.
crazy.
But it will get in your head and it will make you have a good day no matter what. Like
No
you
matter
can't be
what.
mad while listening to Katamari songs.
That's awesome.
If you're mad, then there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, something it's really weird. You're in a Tarantino movie
Yeah.
if you're that mad while
Speaking of
listening to
something
that.
wrong with you, what do you have, Steven? Transitions.
Well,
For 3
well,
and 2.
and again, this is in no particular order. This is really hard. I guess number 3, Morrowind, to kind of compare to your Skyrim selection. So pretty much everything that you kind of said about Skyrim, but the opposite execution. So where Skyrim is the hard trumpet solos with the vocal choirs, literally just a bunch of dudes. So Morrowind being more on the lighter side, it's plucky, like with that's like that. Literally, they're plucking violin strings, or the like English horns are doing melodies. Like it's more lighter and whimsical because Morrowind, Skyrim, we all know what Nordic lands look like: ice, tundra, a lot of mountains. There were some trees in there. One happy little tree. But Morrowind was like an alien world, and the music played with that familiar instruments, but the whimsicality, it just helped with the immersion, especially me playing it in my youth. Yeah, I love Morrowind. And again, Jeremy Soule, he knows what to do. He knows how to immerse you in any game that he's composing. I love that man. Sorry, I'm looking at the last 2 that I wrote, and I'm like,
he's trying to figure it out.
Yeah, what do I flip?
Yeah.
Dang it! Hold on, I have a coin around here. I don't. I'm gonna flip this card.
Pick the one with the longer name as the second one.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Okay, yeah.
Fun fact: Kohatane, or I've seen 2 different spellings: K-O-H, and then K-O-W. So it was Kawatoni, whatever. But Tony Man. That was the first game he ever composed, and he nailed it. Every single track on that song, it makes you feel whatever you're looking at immediately. I don't know how to explain it further than the music itself can tell the entire story of that game. It's so freaking good. Every time, any track that I listen to, because it will throw up randomly on my car, on my playlist, and I'm immediately imagining the scene that plays.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's really cool when you're listening to a soundtrack and you know exactly what was going on in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Just from the soundtrack.
Yeah, because and the way that they made the soundtrack integrate with that, game too is so expertly done. Like the way it softly transitions depending on what is actively going on. So like for those who don't know, Shadow of the Colossus, you're literally taking down Colossi. And it'll start off when you encounter them like, oh, hey, the strings are kind of wallowing. It's mysterious what's going on. There's intrigue. And as you get approached, like, oh, they start swelling. They start crescendo. Oh, you're climbing the monster. Holy crap. Now the strings are going crazy. Like, it's crescendoing. I don't know how to express any further than Anyway, yeah, I love that game. Holy crap.
And speaking of games, what a transition. Zach, you have not been here for this.
For those of you who don't know, it is time for pain.
It's time for hell!
I'm here for whatever this is.
So,
let's go. Let's do it.
I do these games.
Beep.
I do these games to torture these guys. And what I do is I Google something, and then I scroll down to like page 7, and then pick a list from there. So today, I Googled best soundtracks in video games, and scrolled down to like page 9, I think it was. And this is the top 10 according to Catherine Milowiski. I don't know.
According to some person somewhere.
Yeah. So thank you, Catherine. This is her top 10. So this is kind of like Family Feud, but backwards. In other words, if you get number 1, you get 1 point, because technically that should be the easiest one. If you get number 10 on the list, you get 10 points, because that's the hardest one to come up with. I mean, I don't want to give you 10 points for number 1. That's the easiest question. So here are, according to Catherine, her top 10 soundtracks, video game soundtracks. And Zach, since you're our guest, we're gonna let you go first. If you get one right, you get to keep going. Let's see. What are Catherine's top 10 here?
Who is Catherine? Is the question.
She's like on
Yeah.
page 9 of Google.
Why is Catherine?
She's about my level of competency there. Right?
Listen, last
Okay.
week I did Watch Mojo top 10 on these guys.
It was terrible.
I think Catherine has a better list than Watch Mojo did last time.
Man, this is gonna be. I'm gonna have to go with like classics to try to just get a point. So I'm gonna say Super Mario Odyssey because it was near my top.
You know what? I'm gonna give you Super Mario. It's just Super Mario Bros.
Because then
She's
we'll have
not
to list
very
like 30
clear.
different games.
She just says Super
so-
Mario Bros. But that's number 1, so you only get 1 point.
Ah, dang it. Well,
So,
all right.
All right,
Number
but you're on the board. This is good.
Number 1?
Number 1, according to Catherine, is Super Mario Bros.
Yeah.
Is it at least Super Mario Bros. 3?
No, it just says Super
Just the
Mario
first
Bros.
one. Which I'm gonna hot
Koji
take,
Kondo.
the internet's gonna come after your show. I'm sorry, not even really that great of a soundtrack. Like it's okay, it's good.
Hey, don't
but it
blame
didn't-
me.
It's good for
This
its
is
time.
Catherine's
That's the
list,
thing, though.
okay? It's not
Well,
my
Clap,
list.
you-
In before, 5 of these tracks or soundtracks, whatever, are Koji Kondo, by the way.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Uh,
what's your next guess there, Zach?
All right, I'm gonna try to just throw it so someone else has to go. Let's go with Need for Speed 3.
No, sir. Not
Ah.
on there. All
The
right.
answer you're looking for is Underground.
Let's go. Friendly Faraga. What you got?
Oh, I'm next.
I think you know all of these games, by the way. All of you. Yeah, these are.
So we're not gonna get hit by some like random indie
No.
version from like 1983.
Catherine went pretty vanilla here.
Odyssey is one, so I can see that. Yeah.
I'm also gonna go for an easy one, Minecraft, because like
No,
I
not
know
on
everyone-
Catherine's list.
Holy shit!
Oh.
No, Catherine. No Minecraft for Catherine.
I'm actually
Sonic the
the room.
Hedgehog.
The room is spinning. That's such like a everyone's list.
Javier?
This is not a joke.
No
I did not know that
Sonic.
Minecraft had music.
No Sonic?
Sonic is not on Catherine's list. All right, Zach, we're
Catherine,
back to
where,
you.
Where are you
Hey,
coming
now, hey,
from?
Zach, you're understanding the game.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. So we got a Nintendo fanboy here. Okay, what can I do with that? Let's. Okay, you know what? We just because I felt like it was a very casual pick on mine. Final Fantasy VII. I felt like that was the most obvious one I picked.
No.
She's gonna have Final Fantasy III, but
she's
the
not on
American
here.
one.
Oh wait, Final
Like,
Fantasy VII, yeah. Final Fantasy VII is number 6. So you got 7 points. Look at you.
Oh man. You guys, my pen name is Catherine. Is paying off finally.
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Oh man. Okay. I don't want to give away my number one by guessing it, but I feel like it might actually be on there. Let's go. Let's go Oblivion. See if they put a middle
I do love
Elder
Oblivion's
Scrolls on
music,
there.
too.
Not Oblivion.
Ah, that was a hint in that.
All right, Steven, what you got? Senor Friendly.
Halo.
Halo's number 8. Look at you. You're on the
Let's
board.
go. Let's go.
All right. So far, Zach has 7. You got 8. Let's go. What you got next?
Crap. So like now I'm not sure if it's gonna be like Super Mario Bros. Answer again.
No, Super Mario Bros. is taken. That was number
No,
1.
no. I'm saying is it give me another one of those nonsense where
Oh,
like
okay,
it's just the series as a whole. But Ocarina of Time.
No.
Really?
Oh, wait. It is. Number 3.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm
you
gonna say
wrote
that.
this
or-
down.
Number 3. So you got
Hey.
11. 11 now.
Oh,
You wrote this list down. How are you confused about what's on this list?
I can't read.
It's not even like
So,
you wrote
okay.
it in your handwriting. It's
So
it's
I-
all
I-
text on your phone.
just enhance.
It converts it to handwriting, so it's harder to read.
Yeah. It's not in Spanish. English is hard.
Your brain has to translate forward more times
Yeah,
than
yeah,
it
yeah.
needs to.
I was
It doesn't
like,
even have a
The
translation.
Legend of Zelda, and then my brain was like, the Legend of Zelda, and I was like, I didn't know which one was which.
The Legend of Zelda. I love it.
And they say,
That sounded like authentic Spanish too. Like I-
Ocarina of Time. I don't know. See, it was just.
You just add a little spice to it. nothing
Yeah,
wrong
yeah.
with
I think
that.
you're just saying things in a Spanish accent.
Just like a baseball game. And now to the bat. Ocarina! Sorry. From the Dominican Republic. Ocarina. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna say my next guess before I forget. I'm gonna throw in the series as a whole because I don't know how to narrow down a game.
All right.
Pokemon.
Wow. Hold on.
You say, okay, so you understand that might be a little hard of an answer.
Well, I thought that was on here, but it might have not been on this list. No, it's not on this list.
Well.
So you're still stuck on 11. Javier, come on.
Skyrim.
11.
Javier, what'd you say, Javier?
Skyrim.
You gotta come up here.
Skyrim.
Oh, Skyrim. Number 4, Javier. Javier's on the board with
Crazy.
Skyrim.
Yes, sir.
So we got 4, 8, right? And 11? Yeah.
Yeah.
4, 8, and 11. You can still make a comeback, Javier.
When was this made?
2023.
2023.
So Catherine's on top of things. This is new. Way to go, Catherine.
You made it to page 9, Catherine. You got there.
And you said it's pretty vanilla.
There's only one that's like, not super vanilla, but you guys will know.
Doom?
Doom is not on here. Uno,
You only
dos,
said it because
tres,
you saw the cyber
cuatro,
game.
cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, diez. No. Alright. We're back to you, Zach. He's still stuck on 4.
Okay, I'm naming both series and game with this because this was my last one that didn't make the top 5. Mass Effect.
No.
Yeah.
Alright,
Wow.
go, Steven. You got this. Go.
Hold on, Mass Effect was my guess too. Give me 1 second. Oh no! I mean, thank you, but oh no!
Gonna guess Mass Effect again. Mass Effect 3.
Mass Effect 2.
No, Metal Gear Solid.
No Metal Gear. Man, this. All right, we got one more round through. Javier, what you got? Come on, you can still get in this.
I could.
Do it.
This is rough, man. As far as vanilla.
I mean, just some of these we've said already. I think, yeah.
Did somebody already say Halo?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
It was me. Sorry, that was my
Earthbound.
second guess.
Earthbound is not.
No.
All right, last time through. Go, Zach. What you got?
Oh god,
Come
I
on.
forgot what video
You
games
can
exist.
still take the lead here.
I'm trying to think of like what Nintendo games my mom would play and then tell her friend Catherine about for her web blog, which seems to be where this is coming from. So I'm gonna go with Animal Crossing. I'll throw in New Leaf to just randomly name one, but let's say Animal
No.
Crossing.
The little
Animal
3DS
Crossing.
one.
God,
No
dang
Animal
it.
Crossing. All
It's
right,
gonna
you can lock it up here, friendly.
Kingdom Hearts.
No Kingdom Hearts.
No, okay.
Javier?
Mega Man
Catherine
Mega
has defeated
Man
2.
2 with 9 points. Javier takes the lead now with 13. Let's
My boy.
go.
Wait, it had Mega Man on this list?
Is number 9. Mega Man 2. He even called it by number. Let's go.
Yeah, that's even more
She
specific.
literally just like looked at her collections and went, yeah, those games.
She's listening to us and updating it live right now. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Catherine's like sitting back there like, oh, crap, they found out.
So no Sonic. We already did Mario.
You got 14. Since you took the lead, we're going to give these guys one more chance to...
Man, this is.
Go. 1, 2,
Look at
3.
it on the room for
Almost-
inspiration.
Almost read his phone
There's
if he just.
4 names left in here. 4 games.
4 games.
Yeah.
Man. Persona 4. I don't know. Oh, it's 5, isn't it?
You know what? I'm going to give it to you because I did give him Super Mario Bros. So it is 5.
Yeah.
So you got
Makes sense.
19 points now. Can they still steal it? Yeah, they can if they get number 10. What else you got?
Dragon Quest.
No.
Hmm.
All right, here we go, guys. Y'all need this. Zach, what you got?
How about shoot, Mortal Kombat?
No. And
Oh,
the
okay.
last chance here. Let's go, Friendly Faraga.
I'm gonna stab this woman. What it is, I'm painting the picture a little bit. This woman is incredibly pretentious, very self-centered, arrogant, if anything, maybe.
Oh, I know what it's gonna be.
Catherine.
That's
Well, no, it is not Catherine on there.
That
Damn
would've
it!
been
It
perfect.
was just
That
for the
was
meme.
great one, though.
that's not vanilla at all.
That was great. The
Oh,
ones
Well, I
that-
mean, what locked it in, I thought about it, like, nah. But then when you said Persona was on the list, I'm like, well, there's actually a chance.
the ones that you missed, you only missed number 2, Undertale.
That's what I thought you were
Oh,
gonna say,
she's
pretentious.
okay.
Number
it's one of the-
7,
Like,
Donkey
it's
Kong
One of these gamer.
Country.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
And
I
number
agree.
10
Let it cook, let it
was
cook.
God of War.
God of War was actually in my pool, or like in the Rolodex rather. If it's that slow, but yeah. Oh man, I actually almost, dang it! Why did I say God of War? What the meme?
I thought God of War, but then I was like, I've never actually heard a God of War song, so I
No, they go
Yeah.
hard. Again, bombastic choirs and every. Well, I mean, not really choir. I
Well,
guess there's some
let's
choirs.
go to our number 1s. What you got there, Friendly?
Oh god. Sorry, I know the game. It's just I'm thinking of like a very specific track I want to like really highlight. But Bloodborne.
Okay.
Yeah.
That game has like 6 composers. That's how like intricate they had to get with like the themings of the game, and plural for themings. But like the one track
There
that
he
like
is.
really like honestly it made me like drop my jaw. I didn't see it. Made me drop my jaw. Was Ludwig the Holy Blade, the first boss you run into for the Old Hunters expansion that they had after the game came a year after the game came out. Just look it up. Look up Ludwig the Holy Blade OST or Bloodborne
Friendly's our
OST, whatever.
historian.
I am. Yeah.
You're definitely our historian. You remember a lot more dates than I ever do.
True. And shout out the composer because again, there's 6 of them. So I don't want to just say, oh yeah, the Bloodborne composer, Nobuyoshi Suzuki. He specifically worked on that Ludwig Holy Blade track. The crescendo that happens, and again, the way that they kind of time the music to work into the gameplay. The crescendo only happens when you get to the second phase of the boss fight. So like the first half of the song beautifully loops, where like you can't even notice it looping really. And then once you get the boss of the second phase, then it crescendos and it just, oh my god, just listen to it, man. I'll send it to you on Discord. It's so good.
What you
So
got Javier,
good.
for your number 1?
So my number 1 was your number 4, I think. Kingdom Hearts, except specifically 3. I can call out specifically 3 because 3 has good songs from the first game, it has good songs from the second game, and then it has tracks from the side games that weren't featured in 1 or 2. One of the best side game songs is called Gion's theme, Xion, and it's a very they find a very weird middle ground of somber yet melancholic almost. So for those of you who don't know, the games have been out forever now, so I don't feel bad spoiling it. But Sora, at some point, he has 2 hearts in him. He dies, his 2 hearts split. However, Sora's memories, which get lost in one of the side games, turns into a character that you see in another game, Gion. And in order for Sora to wake up after he's like in this state, after he's lost his memories, the character who has made out of his memories has to sacrifice herself in order to like actually wake him up. So it's a very oddly emotional scene for what is normally a kind of goofy and lighthearted series, and the song or theme kind of like highlights that. It's really good. Also, the Traverse Town theme, the Twilight Town theme is fantastic. It's called Lazy Afternoons.
Both of them are honestly great, but yes, Lazy Afternoon is really good.
Fantastic.
All right, what you got?
They live
Friendly?
rent free in my head too.
What's your number one?
Anybody
I said it.
describing Kingdom's Hearts sounds like a child describing their dream to an insane person, and I love it.
It's
Like,
fantastic.
no context, no idea what's going on. It's just
No,
and he
same
has,
thing with Tetsuya Nomura's designs, yeah.
yeah, he's got 2 hearts, and then he dies, and a heartless comes out, but he's a faceless, and then they have to get the soul back from the soul diamonds, and Mickey Mouse is there, and also there's Sephiroth, and you're like, what?
Keep in mind, by the way, the official description, like they actually pulled a Palpatine before Palpatine with episode 9. Somehow, Kyrie brings him back from being a heartless.
A
They didn't
wizard
actually give an
did.
explanation. Somehow, she brings him back.
All right, Zach, what you got for your number one?
Give it to me.
Oh, is it me? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think we kind of spoiled it a little bit earlier, but I'm gonna. His horn fell off. I'm very sorry.
Well, which
There
one?
he is.
I need
That's
to know.
the guy. I'm gonna go with it.
Is it
2016
Doom 2?
Doom.
Okay, 2016. So OG Mick Gordon
Yeah.
got it.
Yes, that.
So Doom also was in my. I don't know how to throw this in the list. It's so good, but I don't know how.
I didn't know if I wanted to put the original or 2016 because both of them to me are so good. But I think the original, it doesn't hold up as well if you didn't grow up with it like I did. If you're not like me and you didn't put Doom on your parents' refrigerator because you figured out like the little LED screen to do that, I'm one of those guys. I love that subreddit. I put Doom on everything. But the 2016, there it is. Yes, I will. So I will put a picture up in here of my original poster signed by the development team because that's how much of a Doom head I am.
No, I'm a boomer shooter. But we'll get along just fine. Don't worry.
Heck yeah.
Doom
Heck
was the
yeah.
first game I ever beat as a toddler. And I don't.
think
And you
I
can't.
mean, Warcraft
You can't.
1,
You can. Doom 1 and 2 shouldn't count either because it goes back to our licensed music problem.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. It's just Doom 1 and 2 is just a bunch of Sabbath and Slayer songs just kind of
Basically.
remixed.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
remixed and sort of pared down to an 8-bit level.
Exactly.
But the
Well, 8 is-
2016, when you start playing Doom 2016, because they got to give you a little intro how to use your gun, all that kind of stuff, because it's a shooter. But it goes so far out of that so fast because you're the Doom guy. You're not gonna have a problem with any of this. But the combination of that intro sort of theme of we're doing this to help humanity, it's good. Him punching the monitor, the elevator doors opening. The hit to black and the Doom logo coming in as soon as it just cranks up to 11. And then yeah, you're just like you just amped up. I'm getting goosebumps right now. I want to go like fight demons. And then complete silence, doors open, the shotgun cocks, and then the game starts. And it's like the sound design for that whole intro, including the music, is perfect. It's my favorite intro to any game, hands down, because you know immediately what you're gonna do, and you're amped up and ready to do it. And there's no explanation, no lengthy tutorials, no cutscenes, no nothing. And it just hits you with that music. And then the rest of the game, the music is creepy, and it just kind of hangs out behind you, and you hear the wind sounds and low synths and low beats and stuff until it starts amping up, and a guy comes through a portal, and imps coming out of everywhere, and then it just kicks into high gear. And it's like, to me, it was the perfect meld of making the action scenes feel like action scenes,
Yeah.
and then giving you the kind of the breather when you're exploring, and then back into them again. And the sequel did a really good job as well, but I think the initial impact of that first level can't be beat. Like, that was it for me.
The sequels
It's
are
a
to talk
soundtrack, but
about,
I
but
still-
agreed.
I just play that soundtrack just to listen to it as music all the time.
No, BFG Division 9000. It's
Fantastic.
too
Yeah.
good not to. It's too good not to listen to. It's like
Sometimes you gotta just rip and tear in the
speaking of-
morning.
speaking of ripping or no ripping tier 2, BFG Division. Have you heard the Alex Terrible cover, by the way?
I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. But
Yeah.
yeah, anyway, yeah. No, I love Doom.
All right, my
that
number
was-
one. Again, this is my number one. I do not claim that this is number one on anybody's list, nor should it be, but it just holds a special part in my heart. A little piece right there. Just because I spent so much time playing this game till dark 30 in the morning because it was on the Sega Genesis, so therefore there was no way to save. So if you didn't finish it, you didn't finish it. It was Toe Jam and Earl. It was so good, and I gotta tell you, as a drummer, I could just sit there and just listen to that bass groove the entire time. It's one of the dumbest games. Aliens crash on Earth, and they're just looking for the pieces of their spaceship that are scattered all over the Earth, and is campy, is dorky, it's funny. It is 100% two players. Don't bother trying to play it one player. It's just a waste of time. It's funny. It's a two-player game. But that bass line, like I said,
funky.
Oh, it was so good.
Too funky.
Now, mind you, they came from Planet Funkatron, okay? So it makes sense.
Canonically, it lines up with the lore of established Funkatron, which is important.
100%.
They would be publicly executed in the Funktronian public.
It's just straight up funk, bass lines, little drums in there, no vocals. It was just, you're just chilling, you're just walking around the Earth looking for your spaceship parts and just like, it was just, that groove was like, I still to this day, it's like, yeah, let's go. So that was my number one, man. Again, stay till like way too late, because if you didn't find all the pieces, you couldn't save it and come back later. You were either going to find all the pieces or you were a loser.
Or you had to take that back to Hollywood Video the next day sad.
Yeah, loser. That was it. And with that, we thank you so much once again for joining us here at the new named and aptly named Out of Options. That's us, Out of Options. Because we're out of options for our name, and obviously you're listening to us, so you're out of options as well. We thank you for being out of options and listening to us. Tell your other friends who are also out of options, they're looking for another podcast.
Favorite.
This is it. We're right here. We will argue over stupid things. Most of the time we never agree on a top 5, but it's always fun to get in here and throw things around. But once again, thank you so much for listening. We will do this again the next time that we do it, but not before the next time that we do it. But the next time that we do it, we will definitely do it again. All right? Thank you so much. See you. Follow that logic, and we're out of here. See ya.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Here's what you do. Top 5 overrated comic book heroes, and in parentheses, and why they're all DC characters, and just watch the DMs blow up. People will be on fire.